वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Very glad to meet all of you today. Leelanand Prabhu told me that you all had a very nice Rath Yatra procession today. Spirituality starts when you become intelligent to inquire, why am I suffering in this world? That's the first step. Animals also suffer. We also suffer. But animals cannot ask the question, why am I suffering? If you put 20 goats in a queue and one of them is being slaughtered in a slaughterhouse, and you give all the other goats grass to eat, they'll just close their eyes and they'll be eating the grass further, waiting for the turn to come. One by one, they'll go inside, they'll all be started. And you can see in a shop, meat shop, that's what they do. The goats are foolish, they don't run away. Imagine if you put 20 human beings in a queue and give them all a kulfi ice cream to eat, and you put one of them in a gelatin machine. What do you think the other guys will do? Do you think they'll be eating ice cream and waiting in the queue? They would just flee from there. That's what makes you different from the animals. I saw in Pune, also in the market yard in Pune, a bull was coming and picking up a cauliflower from a hand cart. And that owner of the hand cart bet the bull with a stick. And the bull just turned his face, picked up one or two and went away. Next day, again came and put the mouth in the same place. Again he got a beating. Every day he gets a beating and gets one cauliflower. So I was just thinking, if a human being goes to somebody's house, imagine somebody bet you with a stick and drove you. Will you ever put your feet in their house? What to speak of beating? Even if somebody insulted you, sometimes in India, your grandmother may tell her grandson, if you are going to that city, don't go to their house. Because in their house, your Dadaji was insulted, they will say. So we have, Swabiman. We don't want to be insulted. Hmm. Even insulted with verbal abuse, what to speak of being beaten physically. It's not that animals are inferior, we are superior. Animals are superior to us in many different ways. We can scientifically prove it. You see, eagle has telescopic eyes. It can see miles away. From the sky, it can see a dead body. Our vision is not so powerful. Elephant can eat tons of grass every day. Mosquito can produce millions of mosquitoes, in a very short time. We can only produce one in a year. But animals, I mean, the mosquitoes can reproduce so much, so fast. A dog can produce a dozen puppies in a year. Similarly, you will see whether it is eating or whether it is mating, whether it is like sleeping. Polar bear sleeps 6 months in a year. You think about all the animals, they're very powerful in eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and all these activities. But what they cannot do and what you can do is, whatever I am talking to you, only you can understand. If there is a pussy cat or a puppy dog here, they can't understand. Only you can understand what we are talking here. So, animals suffer and they die one day and they quit the world. They don't know who they are, where are they going. But human beings will protest against suffering and ask the question, I don't want to, is there anyone here who wants to have a white hair? Uh, but eventually your body gets old, you get white hair, you get wrinkles. And one day we are ejected out of our program and taken to the graveyard to be burned. So any intelligent person should ask, what is, Shakespeare said something about life. Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, he said. Another time Shakespeare said, life is like a drama stage where all of us are like actors. We play our part and go. So many great writers and scientists and scholars have wondered about what life is all about. In this world, you can see two things very clearly. There is Jad, there is Chetan. Jad means dead. Chetan means conscious. Like many of you are sitting in chair. That chair is Jad. And you, the conscious person who is hearing my lecture, you are Chetan. You understand the difference between the two. The Jad means it has no emotion, no feelings, no perception. It's dead matter. Whereas the Chetan Vastu, yourself, you are conscious, you have feelings, your emotions. If it is very cold, you will wear a sweater. If it is very hot, you will need a fan. Yeah? You have those feelings. Huh? You can understand what is Chetan. So when I am talking to you, you all are conscious that you are sitting in your respective places. Are you not? Because you are conscious. Huh? So there are three symptoms easily observable by you inside your own heart. Every one of you test this yourself. You are looking for only one thing in life. Can you tell me what is one thing you are looking for? Happiness. Huh? Everyone will agree to this. Everyone is looking for happiness. And also another thing which we all want is to not be damaged by any kind of accident that will destroy our body. You want to protect your body and you want to protect the body of your mother, father, brother, sister, wife, children, everybody. You want to protect them, you want to protect yourself. And you want to continue living as much as you can. Correct or not? Huh? So this is one of the desires. Yeah, first desire is you want to be happy forever. Continuously. You want unlimited happiness forever. Secondly, you want to live forever. Thirdly, you are striving for knowledge. You go to school, college. Why? Because you want to increase your awareness of the world in which you are living. Hmm. Otherwise, why do you go to school? Even a plant kept in a dark room will go towards the window if there is a sunlight. So you can clearly see that you have a great striving for perfection, materially and spiritually, both ways. We all strive. Now, how many of you here feel you should not commit mistake, you should do things perfectly? Can raise your hand. Correct me? Yeah. How many of you would like to see that you are always fooled by the people and situations and you like to commit mistake? Anyone? You like to be fooled by people? Yeah. You didn't listen to me well, therefore you raised a hand. Is there anyone here who want to be fooled by somebody and then you want to commit mistakes? No. Everybody in this world strives for perfection. Therefore, even in companies, we have quality control department, isn't it? Because you look for perfection. Materially, spiritually, we all are looking for perfection. So, these three innate characteristics of spirit, I told you, you strive for perfection, you strive for wisdom and knowledge, and also I told you strive for happiness. You are also striving for living forever, eternity. So, these three in Sanskrit are called as Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means living forever. Chit means full of knowledge and perfection. And Ananda means full of happiness. Therefore, there is a famous Vedic saying, Asatoma Sadgamaya. You heard this? Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. From this world of death, you should go to the world of immortality. From this world of ignorance, we should go to the world of wisdom. From this, in a world of temporary, perishable commodities, we should go to the world of eternal objects which are imperishable. So, the way this is Vedic aphorism, it says, Uttishtata jagrata prapya varan nibodhata. Wake up, human beings. This is the best opportunity for you. Since you are in a human body now, you can realize the greatest truths which are not ordinarily realizable by ordinary people. So, when we talk about the ultimate truth, one story in the Upanishads comes to my mind. There was one boy, small boy called Nachiketas. So he was standing with his father who was giving charity of cows and other things. His father's name was Vajasravas. So his father, while giving charity, was giving once a thin cow, which was skinny cow. He asked his father, Papa, how are you giving a skinny cow in charity? Why don't you give a healthy cow? So he was nagging his father and talking, like children do sometimes with mother or father. They keep nagging the parents. Father became upset. He said, "Hey boy, don't talk like this. So many people are coming in queue for charity. Don't disturb me. And if you disturb me, I will hand you over to Yamaraj," like that he said. And very soon in the same queue, there were two Yamadutas with horns. They said, "Sir, just now you said you are going to hand over your son to Yamaraj. We are his representatives. You have come to take your son," they said. And the small kid was handed over by the father to Yamadutas what to do. In those days, if they give a word, they will never go back. And the boy was taken to Yamaloka. There, Yamaraj was out of station 3 days. So when he returned back, Yamaraj said, "Oh, my boy, I made you wait for 3 days. Take 3 boons from me. Tell me, what do you want?" So the boy said, first boon, he said, "Please send me back to my father and let me have a sweet relation with my father and not have a relationship of upsetting him." And Yamaraj smiled and said, "Very intelligent boy. Okay, I'll do that." He said, "Tadastu. What is your second boon you want?" He said, "I have heard in this world there is heaven and hell. If you do punya, you go to heaven. If you do pap, you go to hell. And also those who do punya or virtuous activities, they get handsome body, they get good education, they get good food, they have good health, they're born in rich families and all that. And those who are sinful, they are born in slums, they don't get good food, they have ugly face, they have diseased body and all that. So I want to know, how do we do these virtuous activities and how do we perform the yajna by which we can ascend to that world of heaven, which is a place where people live very long lives and have handsome bodies and everything. Then he taught him, Nachiketa, the yajna, how to go to heaven. And then Nachiketa was given one more opportunity to ask a third boon, third benediction. Now he said, "I have heard that heaven and hell both are temporary. If I go to heaven, when my punya gets exhausted, it is said, Te tvam bhaktva svargalokam vishalam krine punye martyalokam vishanti evam trayi dharmam anuprapanna gata agatam kama kama labante." This verse says, Gata agatam means you go to heaven when the punya gets over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Again back to earth again. If you do sinful activities, -3, -2, -1, 0, back to earth again. So you suffer for your sins, come back to earth. Enjoy for your punya, come back to earth again. Then Nachiketa said, what is the use of going to heaven and hell? It's like a Ferris wheel. You've seen giant wheel, all of you? When you go up, you are enjoying. When you come down, you are afraid. Similarly, sometimes people go to heaven, sometimes to hell, but heaven and hell are within this universe only. So then he said, therefore, I don't want to just go to heaven and come back to earth. I have a third question to you, he said. What is beyond life and death? I've heard that some great souls, they go beyond this universe. They cross over death and they get moksha. Where do they go? What do they do? Where does God reside? What does he do? I want to know all these things. And when Yamaraj heard this question, he said, my dear boy, you have asked a very serious question. Even the gods of the yore do not know answers to this question. So he said, ask me for another boon, he said. Nachiketa said, see, you are the god of death. Who can be a better teacher than you to tell me what is beyond birth and death? So then Yamaraj wanted to divert his attention. He said, I will give you a golden chariot, horses, and fair maiden, and children, and vast lands on earth to rule, and gold and silver and diamond and whatnot, rubies and pearls and everything. Ask me for anything, Nachiketas, in the world of mortals, however hard to obtain. I can give you right away, right now to you. But release me from this question which you have asked about what is beyond birth and death. And Nachiketas contemplated for a while and said, Oh Yama, what are you talking? When we become old, we cannot enjoy these royal delights, what you are talking about. A old man cannot eat nice food. Similarly, when one gets old, the senses become weak. What is the use of all these delightful objects that you are giving? And with you in sight, who can enjoy the wealth in this world? Yama. So therefore he said, I can only ask you this question, what happens beyond birth and death? Then Yamaraj told him, He said, there are two roads in this world. One road leads to the path of, petty pleasures. Eat, drink, and be merry. And these people, there is a big crowd of people going on that road. Most people of the world don't know anything beyond animalistic lifestyle of just eat, drink, and be merry. That's all. You ask any average college boy, why are you going to college? He will say, I want a degree. Why do you want a degree? I want to fetch a job. Why do you need a job? To earn some money. Why do you need money? To fill up my belly and to give some money to parents. And they don't know anything beyond that. So this is actually nothing more than animal life. Actually, animals also take care of their family. You know that? Hmm? They also live in groups. Like if you see honey bees, they also have very good social life. Honey bees also. Even a lion teaches the cub how to catch the prey. Do you know that? Hmm? They have their houses, they have their family, they have their children, they have everything human beings do, they do. But only one thing they don't do is they don't know what is spirituality, what is God, how to get out of this world. That they do not know. They have no knowledge about it. So he said there is a path of petty pleasures which the whole world is chasing after, the mirage of petty pleasures. But there is another path which is the path of everlasting bliss. And then he said, if you really want to attain that path, you should learn this chariot. He said, this body is like a chariot. And in this bodily chariot, there are five horses, which are like five senses: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and skin. And these senses are always wandering to enjoy. The horses want to run in all directions, but the ropes of the horses is the mind. Somebody can take the child and give him some place to. Yeah, those who want to talk can. Yeah. He can't be blamed. He's a little child. He's innocent. So uh, the ropes of the horses is compared to the mind, and the driver is the intelligence. So he said the intelligence driver has to be nourished by spiritual intelligence by hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Upanishads, Vedas, Puranas, everything. Strengthen your driver of your chariot, intelligence. And the mind is the ropes and control the horses. And then get a direction and walk on the road of everlasting bliss. So he said, this body which you see, it is jada. But in this jada body, there is a Chetan Atma seated. Hmm. Just like, for example, there is a car which is jada. And the driver of the car is Chetan. Is it not true? Yeah, cage of a bird is jada. But the bird inside the cage is Chetan. Is that clear to everybody? Bird is conscious, but the cage is not. The driver is conscious, the car is not. So this is the first thing he taught. Know the difference between what is Jada Prakriti and what is Chetan. And then he said the Chetan Atma, it cannot be cut by scissor. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be moistened by water. It cannot be, dried by air. So which means the soul is not a material entity. The soul is spiritual. Just like you all might have heard in your school days about energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy disappearing in one form, reappears in another form without any loss or gain. That is about material energy. The same is true for spiritual energy too. The spiritual energy can neither be created nor destroyed. When the Atma leaves one body, uh, at the time of death, so there are three things you need to know: body, mind, soul. Right now, what you see in the mirror, what is it? Body. And inside this body, there is mind. And inside the mind, there is soul. Just like a man may wear a banyan and a shirt. Like that, the soul wears two dresses, the mind and the body. The mind is for storing your desires, and the body is for executing desires. Say, for example, I want to, I'm going with my car on the road. Suddenly, I see a beautiful house. I like the color combination of the house and independent bungalow. I just take my smartphone, I just take a snapshot of that, keep with me. Then I make a printout of it and put it in my office. I keep watching the house. That means I've developed a desire to have such a house. Correct, no? Huh? So the seed desire has come, but I don't have the money with me. So what I will do after some time? When the money accrues after say 5 years or 6 years, then I'll call a civil engineer and make a blueprint of that. So first there's a desire, then there is a blueprint, then the actual house will come. So I store my desires in the mind and then I execute the desires with my body. Like if you have a desire to play piano, that desire is stored in the mind. Then I actually get a piano and I play, then the body instrument is used for playing piano. Uh, like so mind is like a microprocessor. And the senses, the bodily senses are like the servo motors. How many of you are IT engineers here? How many of you? I think you will understand this very easily. Yeah. So in a CNC machine, isn't it? You have microprocessor where you type the program. For example, I saw two boys in the neighborhood rooms in the hostel. One boy, I went to him, he was doing puja for Lord Krishna with agarbatti. Next room I went, I saw the boy smoking cigarette. Both the fellows are releasing smoke. One is a divine smoke, one is impure smoke. Why? Because their minds they have programmed. One fellow has a mind which is devotional minded. Another fellow's mind is having a polluted mindset of taking in all dirty substances. You can see that. So whatever way you program your mind, your senses are going to act accordingly. It's very obvious. So at the time of death, what happens? Lord Krishna says, the soul surrounded by the mind, leaving the body behind, the soul comes out. Huh? And the mind is compared to a wind that carries either fragrance or uh, impure smell. Just like if a train is going through a forest, you get an impure smell, isn't it? Sometimes you impure smell of some dead animal or something. Or if the train is going through a garden having jandu flowers, you get the jandu smell. Similarly, your mind is carrying good vasanas or bad vasanas, karma vasanas at the time of death. And that decides your next body. So I'll just show you a couple of. You can put this projector. It's coming here. Okay. So as I told you, by observing this, you will easily understand the concept still now what I spoke now. Huh? It should be, yeah, it should be bigger. You can take it even behind, further behind. It has to be bigger. Screen can be, and this light can be switched off. Is it possible? It's fine. Okay. You can observe this. 5, 7, 9, right? Last number is 10. You? Good boy. Give me answer. Pick. 1 plus 1. 3 plus 2. 5 plus 1. 7 plus 1. Now, give me answer. 5 minus 2. 5 minus 1. 5 minus 4. 6 minus 3. 7 minus 4. 8 minus 4. 10 minus 3. Very good. So, so we can ask the children, hey, he told correctly mathematics? You checked it? Correct? Yeah. So, now how do you think this dog is able to do mathematics? This is not a trained dog. Right from birth, he is doing this in North India. If dogs were trainable all over America, everybody will train their dog like this. Correct or not? Because Americans are very fond of dogs. Every home, they treat dog almost like a family member. But no dog is trainable like this. Show me one another dog like this. You cannot. Because in the rebirth, when the rebirth happens, the soul is carrying the same mind which was there in the previous body. The software. Just like, for example, you are wearing a banyan today and you are wearing a shirt. Shirt you removed and threw it. Tomorrow you are wearing another shirt, but the banyan is same. Huh? Like that, your mind is the same. So in the previous mind, previous life, you must have been probably some mathematics teacher or something. I don't know what blunder he did. He got into a dog's body, isn't it? So then now that all mathematical vibrations are still there. Similarly, there was one elephant called as Gajendra. This Gajendra, in the previous life, he was in Tamil Nadu, one king called as Indradumna Raja. And when he retired, he went to the forest, Kutralam. There is a place called Kuttalam, where there's a waterfalls there. He was living in the cave, practicing meditation, everything. So when sage Agastya came along with his disciples, he was a little inattentive in guest reception. He was not careful. So the Agastya said, "You are so dull in receiving the guests, so I curse you to become a dull animal," he said. So next life he went on to become elephant. So because he was dull in the previous life, now also the dullness continued in the next life. So when he was an elephant, he went to the lake and forgetfully he just put his leg inside the lake for playfully playing with the water, and he got caught by a crocodile firmly. And now he screamed. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't escape on his own. He couldn't get any help from other elephants. At last, in the traumatic condition, the previous life impressions came to his mind. Whatever shlokas he memorized in the previous life, that came to him in the next life. Sontasya rasyurubalena grihita artho drishtva garutmatiharim kavupata chakram utkshipya sambujagaram giramaha krichran narayana akila guru bhagavan namaste Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Like that he offered a prayer. Oh Narayana, master, spiritual master of the whole universe, please protect me. Lord Narayana came and he cut off the neck of that crocodile and delivered Gajendra. Now, how did Gajendra speak shlokas? Because he remembered from the previous life. Now, if you tell that Gajendra remembered, these people may not believe. But here you are seeing a dog remembering maths from the previous life can remember. Now, this dog is actually example of a bad vasana. So I'll show you one with a good vasana. See, this child is only 6 months old child, 5 to 6 months old child. Generally, children speak at the age of 2 and a half, correct now? But now you will see this child, a small, tender child. Shwaram Satchidananda. बताओ नमामीश्वरम सच्चिदानंद रूपम लसत्कुंडलम गोकुले भ्राज मानम यशोदा भियोलूख लाब्दा वमानम परमृष्ट मत्यंत तो द्रुते गोप्या रुदंतमो हुर्नेत्र युग्मम भजंतम करम भोज युग्मेन शातंक नेत्रम मुहुश्वास कंपात्रि रेखांक कंठम स्थितग्रैव दामोदरम भक्ति बद्धम इति द्रक्स्व लीलाभिर आनंद कुंडे स्वघोषम निमज्जन्त माख्या पयंतम तदीयेषु तग्नेषु भक्त जितत्वम जितत्वम होता है, जित्यम नहीं होता है. पुनः प्रेम तस्तम भक्तम. So you saw this child, huh? So how many of you heard this Damodarashtakam? You heard before? Correct. Yeah. So this is called as Damodarashtakam, 8 stanzas. She is telling the first part, child is remembering the second part, isn't it? Such a small, tender child, and just 5, 6 months old child is repeating the words. So there is one small boy who is only 4-year-old boy, 4-year-old in Karnataka, in Bangalore. So this boy is able to chant the whole Taittiriya Upanishad. 3 hours he can chant continuously. He's just 4-year-old. And he's saying that He was a great Brahmana scholar in the previous life. So he left that body and now he is born as a small boy. It came in the media and everything. I mean, it came in the TV. They showed him reciting continuously. And now he's learned about like 50, 60 different Vedic literature. He has attained Panditya, which people take about in at least 10, 12 years it takes to master Sanskrit. It's a 4-year-old boy. Why I'm telling you, it is beyond doubt uh, the existence of an entity called soul, which is enveloped by mind and body. And the soul carries the mind and goes to the next body. Lord Krishna says that Utkramantam Sidamba Pibunjanamba Gunanvitam Vimudhananu Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. Arjuna, how the soul enters the body, how the soul lives in the body, how the soul quits the body and goes to the next body. These are all great science known only to spiritualists. And the fools cannot understand it. The fools think that the body is everything. When body is finished, everything is finished. They think like that. Krishna says, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati grihitvaitani samyati vayu gandhani vashayat. He says, like a wind carrying aromas, the mind carries the impressions. Like I showed you two examples. One carrying impure impression, another carrying pure impression. So, just as the soul is the operator of the bodily machine, God is the operator of the cosmic machine or the big universe. So universe is very huge. Naturally, to operate this universe, you need a very great soul, which is God Himself, who is called Parabrahman, and we are Brahman. He is Paramatma, we are Atma, and He is God, and we are tiny. Therefore, I wrote a poem on this. You can just see this poem, a simple poem. See, it's a very simple rhythm. We are not gods, but we are the gods. I am a tiny jiva, not the ultimate God, but a tiny part and parcel, servant of the Lord, leaving Lord's company, supposed to be born in pain, in the world filled with agony, again and again. Krishna is my Lord, the source of all existence. His form is imperishable, full of six opulences. Anybody knows what are the six opulences? He has oceanic beauty. He has oceanic strength. He has oceanic wealth. In this world, somebody is a Lakpati, Karodapati, Arapati, but Krishna is Lakshmipati. Isn't it? Similarly, uh, all beauty, all knowledge, all wealth, all fame, you know, and all renunciation, everything he possesses, like that. There is a definition by Parashar Muni. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashashashriya, Jnana, Vairagya, Chapyukto, Shannam, Bhagam, Itingana. This is a definition of God. God means one who has opulences in full. He pays a visit to this world out of his own sweet will to please and protect his devotees and punish the evil. I am only Brahman, but Krishna is Para Brahman. My power is limited, his potencies are unlimited. I can make a swimming pool. God creates oceans. I can fly a rocket, but Lord floats huge planets. You understand this? Like I can put a Sputnik or a satellite in orbit and I can control it from a control room. But God can put millions of planets and control it from the spiritual world. I can invent a dome light, but God creates moonlight. We make ordinary dolls, but the Lord made us all. Isn't it? You've seen a dome light people make? God makes moonlight, we make dome light. Like God makes the moon, we make God made the sun and we make mercury bulb, isn't it? We can make, whatever He makes, we can make a tiny version of that. That's all. Lord is actual doer and I am just an imitator. Lord is omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient, who deserves everyone's love and humble service. Yeah. I am a tiny jiva. I think one line is missing, I think. Lord is the greatest of all. Let us accept this fact at heart. We are his tiny servants, let's realize and serve him with joy. So, uh, you see, when you talk about God, I used to think God must be the biggest person. So I saw the Vishwarupa Darshanam in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. God with many, many heads and many hands and many legs, as we glorify Him in that famous Purusha Sukta prayers. Sahasra Shirsa Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritvan Atyatishtat Dashangulam. So in that verse, if you see, Sahasra Shirsha, it says, Shirsha means what? Head. God has 1,000 heads, for example. And Sahasra Aksha, it says 1,000 eyes. If God has 1,000 heads, how many eyes he should have? Huh? 2,000. But it says Sahasra Aksha. Why? Because he doesn't have 1,000 heads, he has thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of hands, thousands of legs. That is Vishwarupa Darshana. So I used to think in my room when I was a schoolboy, I put a big poster of Vishwarupa Darshan, thinking that this must be God because God is the greatest person. But later I understood the Vishwarupa came out of Krishna's body in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And also the 400 form of Vishnu also came out of Krishna's body. And then Krishna wrapped up both of them and took it into himself. So you unzip Krishna, you get Vishwarupa. You zip it, then you get the form of Krishna, 200 form of Krishna. Now why God has a 200 form playing on a flute? And why God has such a Vishwarupa darshan? There is a reason for it. Because तेज और ऐश्वर्य से युक्त परमात्मा स्वरूप को प्रत्यक्ष देखना चाहता हूं मैं. This form came from Krishna and entered back into Krishna. Similarly, he showed a 400 form of Vishnu and took it into himself. Now, if you look at Krishna, he plays on the flute. He looks like a blue boy, you know, taking the cows and calves for herding, which even you and I can do. Not a big deal. Huh? Stealing butter from the homes of gopis. Is it a very big deal? But you will see, Krishna did two type of activities. One is imitatable activities, which we all can imitate. Even small children can go to the neighbor's house and steal butter and come if they want. Huh? Anybody can do that. But what we cannot do is we cannot show Vishwarup Darshan like this. Huh? Nor can we swallow the forest fire. Huh? Nor can we show within the mouth the whole universe.
There's only one way to know for sure. If you are telling the truth, then just open your mouth and I shall see. I must be dreaming.
So he showed like this inside the mouth. So inside the mouth he showed the whole universe. And outside he showed the Vishwarupa Darshanam. Now, these are not some children's stories we are showing you, because great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya, they are our authorities. Huh? Great authorities are accepted Krishna as the supreme divinity. So, he plays two roles. This type of childlike role he plays for the loving devotees, bhaktas, who are in a rapture of love with him, pure love with him, who are intimately connected to him as either mother Yashoda or father Nanda, or the friends like coward boys or the coward girls or the cows and calves, the deers and peacocks. And all the people in Vrindavan are in a state of great ecstatic love for him. You will read in the Srimad Bhagavatam when Krishna plays on his flute, even the cows stop drinking milk. Rather, they want to hear the flute sound. They consider that honey to be sweeter than the drinking the milk. Similarly, the cows stop eating the grass and they chewed the grass in the mouth. They don't eat it. They just keep listening to the flute sound of Krishna. So for those who are in love, he shows a human-like form, like you see in the picture here. This fruit vendor lady brought fruits, but in those days they would do selling in a barter system. You know barter system? Like if you give fruits, they would take some grains or some stainless steel vessels or something like that. So she came to give fruits. Krishna had only 2, 3 grains in his hand. So she didn't mind what Krishna gave. She gave all her fruits. Look at the picture, how she is giving. Whatever she had, she is emptying her basket and giving everything out of pure love. And Krishna is glancing at her basket and filling it up with gold and silver and diamond, which she didn't even know. So she is expressing her love, fruit vendor lady, and Krishna is reciprocating with her love by awarding her with so much. She's giving probably 200 rupees fruits, and Krishna is giving her 20 lakh worth wealth back in return. So for the devotees, Krishna deals like this human-like form. But for those who don't believe in him, then he shows Vishwarupa Darshan, or shows Brahmanda in the mouth, or brings a forest fire, and dances on the hoods of Kaliya, Nag with 1,000 hoods. So these are all recorded in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a natural commentary to the Vedanta Sutra, Bhashyam Brahma Sutranam by Vedavyasa. So now why did I tell you these things? Now we are coming to the last part of the lecture today. Another 5 minutes I'll finish. You see, the Lord who lived in Vrindavan, Krishna, as a small, like you see, as a small darling of Yashoda, he performed many, many childish pranks, playful pastimes. And as a covered boy, he played many pastimes with covered friends. With gopis, he danced at the age of 7, at the age of 5 and a half, he danced on Kaliya. And even while dancing on Kaliya Nag, he was smiling. He had no fear at all, even while dancing on Kaliya. So these are all depicted very beautifully in our in cultural.
తిలక సింధూర పలక శృంగార వదన గంభీర ఉరగపుణ సంచార నంద సుకుమార నవనీత గది చోర చంద్రమణి హింత తోం తది జనం తరి తతకు జనం తరి జనం తరి తది తకిట జను తాకు జనం తరి తతకు జనం తరి తా జనం తరి తది తకిట జను
అద్భుత నర్తన చిత్రిత ముద్రిత విద్యుత ముద్భవం అద్భుతం
తాకు జనం తరి తతకు జనం తరి తా జనం తరి తది తకిట జను
అద్భుత నర్తన చిత్రిత ముద్రిత విద్యుత ముద్భవం అద్భుతం
తాకు జనం తరి తతకు జనం తరి తా
విధిశుత కాల విధినుత శీల అతిశయ నీల ధృత పదలో
తాకు జనం తరి తతకు జనం తరి తా
విధిశుత కాల విధిను జం కృతగత ధిమ్మిదత్తయ్య అతిశయ సుఖ నిరుపమకర పాదజం
ఇతను పురపదం చలిత కృత పాదతాం
అననం పదత కథక ధిమికి నిజంజముతం తదాప్తతిల్లా మధుకర మధుపధరల సమనయన కమలదల చలనముని హృదయమపి చోర చాతుర దయాకర మురాది భీకర మన మధుకర మధుపధరల సమనయన కమ.
So you saw the Kaliya Nartan, Leela. So Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. Can anybody smile dancing on the hood of 1,000-hooded serpent? Even if you have to put your foot on a 1-hooded serpent, we will faint. So he performed at the age of 5 and a half. At the age of 7, he lifted the Govardhan hill. At the age of 8, he danced with the gopis. At the age of 11, he left Vrindavan and went to Mathura. At the age of 13 and a half, he left Mathura and went to Dwaraka. And he became king of Dwaraka subsequently. And then he killed many demons. Especially Lord comes to kill the demons and establish dharma and protect the devotees. So the Vrindavan Vasis were all greatly aggrieved, missing his sweet pastimes in Vrindavan, which I told you about. So they were waiting for him to return. At one time in Kurukshetra, on eclipse time, when all Vijavasis headed by Nanda, Yashoda, Gopas, Gopis, everybody went to Kurukshetra. At that time, Krishna had come from Dwaraka, along with his associates, Yadus. And all the Vijavasis looked at him. He was having a mukut, and he was having kundal, he was having kavach, he was having bow and arrow, and he was in a chariot. So Radharani and the gopis They asked Krishna, what is this vesh you are wearing? It's very strange. Huh? This is not the way we have seen in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a very sweet place where the bumblebees are humming, huh? The cuckoos are cooing, the peacocks are dancing, and the Yamuna is flowing, and you play on your flute. Vrindavan is a very homely place, huh? And you don't carry any weapons in Vrindavan at all. But now we are looking at you in this role of a king. We are not at all happy to see you like this. So we request you to leave your position as a king of Dwaraka and come with us to Vrindavan and again help us revive those sweet moments which we had when you were a small boy performing so many playful pranks with Yashoda and your friends. So please come back. So Krishna was in two minds. If I go to Vrindavan, what will happen to Dwaraka? How can I leave it? So Dwaraka is like parliament and Vrindavan is like a home for him. Like you see our Prime Minister of India, he sometimes when he goes to Parliament, he's given very great respect, isn't it? You've seen that? Especially on the Indian Freedom Day, in 15th August. I saw that soldiers doing march past, saluting him, and so many types of respects are offered to him. So he's receiving so much respect there in Parliament. So same Prime Minister, when he goes home, he is bowing down to his mother. How many of you have seen our Prime Minister bowing to his mother? You have seen that photo? Correct, no? Yeah, isn't it? So in front of his mother, the whole, PM of the whole nation is bowing down. You can see that. Similarly, Krishna also in front of Mother Yashoda, he's a small child in Vrindavan. Whereas when he goes to Dwaraka, he's a great king. So in Dwaraka, the mood of the devotees is God is Swami and we are servant. Whereas in Vrindavan, everybody treats Krishna like intimate friend. So God has these type of two roles. One role is a homely role, one is an official role. Parliament type of role. That's called Vaikuntha and Goloka, we call it. So these are all very great confidential truths explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam says that if we don't study about all these truths, we are repeatedly going to be born in this world. Like Shankaracharya prayed, Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jhatare shayanam, iga samsare kaludustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. Oh Murare, Krishna, how many times I have to be born again and again in different families? It's like removing a parrot from a cage and putting the parrot in another cage for 5 years. Then remove it from second cage, put it in a third cage for another 10 years. So we are all being released from one body and we are put in a second body, then third body, sometimes in a king's body, sometimes in a dog's body like we saw, sometimes in a devata's body, sometimes in an ordinary human body, sometimes black colored body, sometimes a fair colored body, sometimes rich body, sometimes poor body. So do we want to be going on taking birth again and again? Or do we want to, cleanse the mind, purify the mind and go back to spiritual world where we meet Krishna face to face in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. So the Shastras, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who become my devotees, they come back to me, he says. And those who do not take to the path of devotion service by chanting, 5 things you have to do to be a devotee. That I am going to conclude with this. But before the conclusion, one point I'll tell you why Jagannath looks like this. Jagannath is Krishna, the black color, and the white color is his brother Balaram, and in the middle that is Subhadra, their sister. So why their eyes are looking so dilated? Because Krishna is being put on a chariot by the Vajabasis. And all the Vajabasis are pulling him back to come to Vrindavan, like you all pull the chariot today, isn't it? So his family members and relatives are pulling him to Vrindavan, but his office work is calling him to Dwaraka. See, now many of the men were enjoying work from home for some time. Now the offices are saying at least hybrid model. You have to come 3-4 days a week to the office. Now you may not feel like going to office, but you have to go because we are being called. That's the same situation for Krishna. He wants to go to home Vrindavan, but his duty calls him in Dwaraka. So his eyes are dilated. My Lord, what can I do now? He is unable to he's overpowered by the love of the devotees in Vrindavan. And that is Jagannath, Balaram and his sister Subhadra. So the 5 things, in conclusion, I want to tell you. A, B, C, D, E. You can remember these 5 things, okay? A stands for association. Like today you all came, you learned many things today. You learned what is Jada, what is Chetan, what is dead matter and what is living spirit. I told you some practical ways to understand it. You learned about Nachiketa's story, how Nachiketas rejected petty material pleasures and he aspired to go to spiritual world. Huh? He understood the knowledge from Yama. Then I also told you, we are a small Chetan Jiva in a small material bodily machine. But God is the operator of the cosmic machine. Then I went on to explain about the nature of God. Then I told you that, you know, Krishna is the only personality who says in Bhagavad Gita that he is God. In Bible, Jesus never said he is God. Jesus said, I am son of God. And Muhammad never said he is God. Muhammad said, I am prophet of God. When Arjuna asked Krishna, who is God? Krishna said, I am God. Not only he said it, I showed you the Vishwarupa Darshana. And he opened the mouth and showed the universe in the belly, all that I showed you. So, Krishna proved himself to be God, who is the source of everyone and everything, who is the one who is managing the affairs of the universe. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, 9.10, Bhagavad Gita, he says that. So, after that I told you, God in the parliament, God at home. God in the parliament is Vishnu form. God at home is Krishna form. Because Vishnu carries Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. He carries the chakra to kill the demons. And he carries a shank which is auspicious for the devotees. Shank and the lotus. So, I asked a small child today in the program, do you like your father in office dress or in homely dress? Immediately child said, homely dress. Because if our father is going to office, he's a military officer, he's carrying gun to the office. But at home, will he show the gun to the child? He won't. At home, therefore Krishna doesn't carry any chakra or shankar to frighten anybody. He just carries a flute. He's playing on the flute very beautifully, very joyfully. And he gives time to all his devotees and he's just doing merrymaking in the spiritual world with his devotees. And we all belong to that beautiful world where every soul is pure there. There is no mind covering in the spiritual world. The soul exists independent of the mind and body. The soul's body is also spiritual completely. So, if you are really serious in your life that I don't want old age, disease, death, I don't want to be born again and again in multiple bodies, then you are in the right place, I will tell you. The Leelananda Prabhu and his good wife Anuradha Priya Mataji, these two personalities, they have two sons. It's a very wonderful family. And here is mother of Leelananda Prabhu. Your father is also there, Leelananda Prabhu's father. Of course, his father is at home. I know. So Leelanand Prabhu's mother is here and his good wife is here. They are a very wonderful couple. He worked in Boston in America and he came to Krishna consciousness there. When he came to this IT area, he started from the scratch, little by little by little, 2 families, 5 families, 10 families. There was one, what is that school? Wardrobe school, what is that? Waldorf school. So they gave him a hall to conduct program. Without any place, his home was becoming small, so he did a program in the school. Then later on, various halls he got in different places. The crowd of IT crowd started swelling. Many of the husbands and wives started coming together. They brought their children. Now this community has grown very big, practically 300 people. And now they got a hall to conduct a program. What is the name of that place? Bhakti Center. Gachibowli. Yeah, that's a Gachibowli. So, and he is such a good human being, besides being a good devotee of Krishna. He is so jovial and so friendly with everybody, children to old people, everybody loves him. And his wife is equally good like him. They both are cultivating this community like a mother and father. They have personalized care they are given to each and every family. And they are really like a family in the sense of the term because like when there is a Gita Jayanti, they'll come together and recite Gita shlokas together. When there is they will all go and take care of the cows. They have a farm. Every member of this community. They'll take prasadam together. They'll dance together. They'll sing. And they have classes together every Sunday evening, 5 o'clock. So all of you are most welcome. Actually, earlier he was living in my home avatar. Now I heard that he has moved to this colony, right? Krishe. So that is a good, big advantage for all of you. So I think Krishna has brought him from my home avatar to Krishe so that he can be in touch with all of you. So you all are here. Take advantage. If you wish to hear these kind of classes which I spoke today, and they attend these type of festivals, you just contact him and then he will include you in the program. In case they find it a little far to come to the program there, if you could do something here locally, they will find it more easy to come, the same colony itself. So the 5 things I'm going to conclude, you all can repeat after me. A for association. So this kind of program is association. You come together. Outside you see so many people are putting so many parties where they drink, smoke, and do all kinds of things. But we do the purest things. You will be eating prasadam now. You hear kirtans. You learn some sublime, pure spiritual things when you come here. So A for association, and B for Bhagavad Gita. Or B for first Bhagavad Gita and then Bhagavata. Okay. So every day read. See, every week at least attend one program. That is A for association. Weekly once. Try your best. If you can't attend weekly, at least attend once in a month or twice in a month. And B for Bhagavad Gita. Read Bhagavad Gita. You have Bhagavad Gita as it is book table. If any of you want to pick up a copy of Gita, you can pick it up if you don't have one. Every day read one page of Bhagavad Gita. That will take you 5 minutes. How many of you think you can give 5 minutes to God every day? Isn't it? Yeah. Just 5 minutes out of 24 hours. So one page of Bhagavad Gita. And C for chanting. So we chant on the beats, you can chant in the fingers also. If you don't want to chant in the beats, you don't have with you. With fingers you can count like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you fold one of your fingers. Any of you want to try this? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know where to begin from? This is the one. So then fold the second one. You have to begin with the second finger, the first top one, okay? So like this 10 times, you 5 times fold it, and 10 times, another 5 times you open. How many are over? 100. 5 folding and 5 releasing. And then 8 times you count, it becomes 108. Sit in a park and you can do it like this. Or morning or evening. Any time of the day you can do it. Do for a week and see yourself. It takes you 10 minutes max. 8 to 10 minutes only. So can we chant 3 times now? You all are ready? Together, okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So this just 10 minutes you try. How many of you think you can try for a week, 10 minutes every day? 1 week. You can give a try? Thank you. There are a few hands up. You won't lose anything by just 10 minutes every day. And after 1 week, if you don't get any result, you give it up. No problem. If you like it, then continue chanting. Okay? So this is C for chanting. And D for devotional diet, which you all will be eating prasad. Now, prasad is there for everybody? Yeah. So what is the ordinary diet and what is devotional diet? Devotional diet means you thank Krishna that you have given us vegetables, cereals, fruits, spices. Now, scientists cannot give you this kind of foods in the laboratory. They cannot create. They cannot create potato chips. They can only give you electronic chips. But Krishna can give you potato chips. Is it not true? 1 grain a scientist cannot produce. Do you know that? 1 drop of water they cannot produce. 1 drop of blood they cannot produce. Therefore, they come to you begging for blood donation camp. Yeah, because these are all creation of God. So we are taking so much from God and eating every day. We should not eat without thanking Him. We should first thank Him. So that's called devotional diet. That's very easy to do for you. Eating all of us like, and it's very easy also. Okay, that's also mercy of God. The last one, E for engagement in seva. Like you see how Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra is beautifully decorated and dressed. And here also you see all this decoration Matajis have made, these garlands. Many Matajis have cooked for Jagannath also, correct? Bhoga they have made. So these are all called seva, engagement in service. And Dylan Point, his good wife, organized meetings. This has been going on last 2-3 months. They have been planning to put up this festival. So if any of you like this type of services and pious activities, if you connect with them, they will give you some part of the seva which is natural for you to do, and you can help in those services. So 5 things. A for, B for, C for, D for E for. If you do these 5 things throughout your life, in this very life, you'll go back to God. You will not have to be born again. Thank you very much. So, where do you think I learned all these things from? They all are available in Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada is the founder of ISKCON Society. We have a temple at ISKCON, Abhids. You all know Abhids where it is? Yeah. ISKCON Abhids, we have a very old temple which was established by Srila Prabhupada himself, 1971, 72. So I live in the temple. I live in Pune first 2 weeks, and third week I come to Hyderabad. Every month I come here. I am also one of the 4 presidents here. So I go to America for 3 months in a year. Americans are also very eagerly receiving this knowledge, what I'm sharing with all of you. There is a very great eagerness. I go to the entire East Coast, West Coast, 3 months. So I also extensively travel to schools, colleges, companies, corporate circles all over the country also. If you want to hear more such lectures, I have a channel, Radheshyamdas. There you will find many such lectures, English, Hindi. I speak in 2 languages. I speak Tamil also occasionally, but I speak in English and Hindi mostly. And if you join once a week, Leland Prabhu's Sunday evening program, 5 o'clock, you will immensely benefit, I can assure you. And take books also, whichever you like. Prabhupada's books and the book table is available. You pick it up. And I wish you all the best. And you have learned the basics of the Bhagavad Gita today. And you will learn much more if you stay in touch. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.